everyone, my name is Nyla and welcome to Primrose in Winter. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this tote bag. I think it's a tote bag, yeah. It's pretty durable and spacious. If you're worried about being able to make a bag from scratch, don't be. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to show it step by step. So let's get started.
You will need 0.5 yards of faux leather, 0.2 yards of vinyl, cotton fabric, pattern fabric, side ring, a 12-inch zipper, some thread, and bag straps. First, lay out the faux leather and cut out a rectangle measuring 11 inches by 15 inches. This is the front of the bag. Then, cut out another rectangle measuring 15 inches by 6 inches. This is the bottom of the bag. Cut out another piece identical to the front piece. This will be the back piece. Next, lay out the vinyl fabric and begin to measure the pieces for the side of the bag. The bottom should be 6 inches wide. Mark that down on the vinyl fabric. The length should be 11 inches long. Once you've done marking it, connect the markings to create a rectangle. Then, on the top side, use your ruler and mark out 2.5 inches on the left and on the right. Use the ruler again to create a line going from the marking you just made to the bottom corner. This creates an isosceles triangle. Make sure to do it on both sides. Cut out the shape, and this is what you should end up with. Don't forget to make a duplicate on the other side. These two pieces are the sides of the bag. Using the side piece that I just cut out, I'm going to make an identical version with the pattern fabric. Just place the vinyl cutout on top of the pattern fabric, then simply trace it. Here I'm just going to pin the fabric onto the vinyl so that it doesn't move when I'm sewing it. This makes sure that the sewing is precise and easy. Make sure to double check that they're aligned correctly. Then sew the pattern fabric onto the vinyl. The reason I did this is because patterned faux leather can be very expensive. Using a vinyl fabric with pattern fabric makes the fabric stronger and more durable. Plus, it's cheaper. Once you've done both pieces, you should end up with 2 pieces of vinyl covered with fabric on one side. Next, lay out the pieces of faux leather that you cut before. You should have 2 rectangles for the front and back of the bag, and another rectangle for the bottom of the bag. Making a bag is like putting together a puzzle. You have to make sure that you put all the puzzle pieces together to get the finished product. So here I'm just going to take the back piece of the bag and use a pin to pin it to the bottom of the bag. And then I'm just going to do the same thing to the front of the bag. And then all you have to do is sew along the sides. You want to make sure that you sew at least a ½ inch seam. Now, to make sure that the bag is durable, if you have a sewing machine that has different stitching options, then I suggest that you use the crisscross stitching option. I don't know what it's called exactly, but there's a picture in the bottom corner of the video. And basically the stitching will just make sure that the bag seams are more durable and they're like less prone to rip. Once you've sewn together the 2 sides of the rectangle, flip them over to the right side, and then using the normal sewing option, the straight line one, just simply go over your seam. This just gives like a polished look to the bag, and it doesn't make the seam bulgy, it kind of flattens the seam. Do this for both sides of the bottom rectangle. Once you're done with that, take the 2 side pieces that you cut up before from the vinyl and simply attach it to the sides of the bottom piece of the bag. When you're doing this, make sure that the right sides of the fabrics are facing each other. By right sides, I mean the piece that's going to be on the outside of the bag. So just double check that they're facing each other because you don't want the opposite side to end up on the front. So again, if your sewing machine comes with different stitching options, make sure to use the zigzag one. If you have leftover pattern fabric, you can cut out small strips of it and add it to the top of the bag, like so. So basically this is what you should end up with after you're done sewing. Now the next step is to just sew all the sides together. Again, make sure to use the zigzag stitching option if your sewing machine does have that option. When you're done with all your sewing, the bag should just raw sides facing you, and all you have to do is flip it inside out. And this is what the semi-finished product looks like. See? I'll make sure that you don't have any gaps in your stitching. Now for the side straps, all I did was take a piece of the faux leather and just doubled it up, then sewed it. And then I'm just going to fold it in half and attach it to the side of the bag. I like to have my bags look store-bought, so I always make a lining for the inside of the bag. However, if you don't want a lining for your bag, you can just keep it as it is. All you need is 2 rectangles measuring 6 inches by 11 inches, another 2 rectangles measuring 11 inches by 15 inches, a rectangle measuring 15 inches by 6 inches, and another small square for a pocket. The pocket can be any size you want. All you have to do is just repeat the steps that you did for the bag, because this is just like another miniature bag that you're going to put inside so that when you look inside your bag you don't see like the raw fabric. And then all you have to do is cut 2 inches in the side of the lining, fold it over, and then just sew along the top. Do this to the other side of the lining as well. For the pocket, just sew in the raw edges, create a rectangle, and you're going to sew along this line. Make sure that you don't sew along the top because that's where you can actually like put the stuff in. So make sure that the top part is not sewn. Okay? And this is what it looks like when it's all sewn. Now turn that inside out and place it in the bag so that the pocket is on the outside. Then sew the lining onto the leather bag along the top. Again, you can totally skip this step if you don't mind having raw fabric on the inside of your bag. This last step might be a bit scary to anyone who's a beginner, but I promise you sewing on zippers is pretty easy. However, if you are a beginner and you've never sewn a zipper on before, I suggest that you do it by hand. Otherwise, you just basically sew one side of the zipper to one side of the bag and vice versa.
So the last step in this DIY project is attaching the rings that are gonna hold the straps of the bag. As you can tell, there are already straps on the bag that I attached, but if you're using like these kinds of hooks as straps, you know, they're not gonna like fit totally, so it's kind of ghetto, but these are kind of like binder rings that I found at my local Staples store, and if you just put it through the straps, close them, and then you have your bag strap. Voila! have like a strap thing. Just do it on the other side. Oh, now you just have. Now you can like just totally strap on your back. So again, kind of ghetto, but they're just binder. They're just like rings for your binders, but detachable. You can find these at, I guess, a craft store or Staples. The tote bag can actually be used as a clutch as well, like just carrying around like this. But I hope that this DIY was simple and easy to follow. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me down below. If you like this DIY, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Bye guys!